School. I'm Jessica Beamer, and I teach kindergarten.
And I'm Katie Hedinger, and I teach 4th grade.
And then we were supposed to have a third amigo, but she is with her son in the hospital at the moment, so it's just us two rocking the show today. We have hashtagged ourselves as the IA Tech Train, so if you want to post anything from this session, probably not pictures of us, but you can hashtag the IA Tech Train. That would be awesome. We do have a little short video, and the internet has been a little sketchy today, so if it doesn't work, that's okay. And I'm just going to give up on that. I don't have patience. Might be because I teach kindergarten. But really what that video was saying is 21st century learner. And we have all of these staff members, and as you can see, we're young, and you go into a school, and you want others to join on with you. And how are you going to get them to use technology in your classroom? And technology is not taking a piece of paper and putting it underneath the projector and saying, here, I'm using technology. So how do we get our other staff members to do that? Do you want to take the first slide?
Sure. So we realized that in our school, just looking at, we're K-4, we're preschool through 4th grade, and so there's technology in all the grade levels, but there's just different levels of it. So like my class, we use technology as much as possible, but then there's a 3rd grade class who's just across the hall, and they hardly use no technology. And so we realized there's only happening in a few classrooms, so a change was needed. So we got together with a representative from our AEA, Prairie Lakes AEA, and just was talking with him. We're like, what can we do? Because we were frustrated that we were trying to do all of these things and our classes were being really successful with them, and then we would take them to our PLCs or professional developments, we'd present on it, and then nothing would happen with it. It's like we would be like, oh, hey, I found this new blogging website, my class did this, and we would show them, and then they'd be like, oh, that's really awesome, I want to use that. And then nothing would happen. Nothing further would go on. So we just came together. It was us two and then the other teacher that wasn't here, and then our AA. Our principal was on board with it, and we met during professional development time about once a month and just talked about all the different resources that we can use for technology.
And our AEA kind of gave us the idea of the tech train, and we're going to tell you about our tech train throughout this presentation and show you kind of why we named it the tech train. How did we get the tech train going at our school? As Katie said, we started a small group just a couple times a month, if it was applicable to that, and we discussed what we wanted to do with this group. Each one of us took a different type of technology. I will never forget sitting in the meeting, and the AEA guy's like, you need to do coding. And I was like, coding? Like a QR code or the code I buy from a store, things like that. And it has opened up my ideas, or all those, to new ideas that I didn't even know about. And I think that's good for you guys to tell your teachers. I didn't know anything about this, so come join me and we can learn together. We use professional development time to work on these things and to share out to the staff. We had a tech smackdown, and we took all of K through 12, and it was a PD, and every single person had to share a technology resource. So they had to get up and they had to explain, and it was a smackdown, so you literally were just giving out ideas. And we walked away from that PD saying, wow, we learned so much. And how many PDs do you walk away sometimes with that same thinking?
So Missy, she's the one that is not here today, but you know, we were coming up with this team, and Jess and I, and then we grabbed Missy. We're like, why do we want to be on this? What can we gain from it? And Missy was like, well, she likes to try new things. She's willing to share new ideas. Anytime that I find something or that she finds something, we're constantly emailing each other, or we're in a chat. We have like this entire presentation, we never met to do this. We just did it over Google Chat. We have a really busy schedule and just didn't have time to meet. So, but even throughout the day, it's like I find something, I email Missy, I'm like, hey, I had a great idea, or she'll do the same back. She likes to have tech-savvy kids. When we get to our 5th grade through 12th grade are all one-to-one, but we're having, the 5th grade teachers are emailing us saying they don't know how to make a Google Doc. How am I supposed to do my lesson today if they don't know how to get onto their email? They don't know how to open up the internet. They don't know how to appropriately search something. So we like to have the tech-savvy kids. She's in 1st grade. And they know how to log on using an email, they know how to enter their password, they can get to any, they bookmark websites, so she's getting those tech-savvy kids. Know the websites that they can use, able to troubleshoot, love to share things using technology with parents. We're going to talk about some different types of technology that we do to communicate with parents, and then the team bounces ideas off of each other almost daily, and that's the team, is the 3 of us.
We come from a really small town, Emmitsburg, and I thought it was so exciting that we never met once to do this. We just got on Google and we were here and there. So I think that's something awesome to tell your teachers. We all have busy lives. I'm a coach. I don't have time right now. I coach volleyball. So how to incorporate, Missy has kids. Katie was leading a huge initiative to feed our kids at our school with the backpack program. So it's just great to use the things that you have, Google Drive and Google Docs.
For me, I have a computer cart in my room, so I have 30 Chromebooks and I have 22 kids. So essentially I made my class a one-to-one because I have the capabilities to do that. So I'm always looking up new technologies. And so if it's something that Jess finds, if it's something another teacher finds, I love that because then I'll do more research on it. We got the TLC grant this year, and so we do have a technology integrationist. The only thing is he's 5 through 12 only, so we still don't have that technology part in the elementary school, so that's kind of what we're doing. However, our tech integration list does send us often some tech ideas, but I'll look for it. The students will be like, hey, Miss Hedinger, I found this website last night, can I show it to you? I love that, because they're going home and trying to use it outside of school. We kind of got this idea all from attending iTech last year. Last year was our first year coming to iTech. It was my first year teaching in Emmitsburg. So we're on year 2 of iTech. I'm only on year 3 of teaching. So the things that I'm doing is all new. It's all new to me, and I love that part. So learn as many new things and decided to try them, incorporate even more after doing research.
Then on to me, I'm kindergarten, so sometimes I think, technology, how am I going to do this? I don't want to give them this and say just work, but that's the best way to do it. And I think, I always use this motto with Emmitsburg, if my kids can do it, and we're kindergartners, then you can do it as 8th graders. So I think that is huge. Technology is the future. These kids are preparing themselves for jobs that don't even exist, and we know that. My kids often teach me more about technology than I know at times. They do things on the iPad that we have in our classroom or the Chromebook, and I literally sit there and I'm like, how did you just do that? And I have them go and be the teachers to the other teachers, and I think that opens up a lot more doors because it's not me talking to you as a teacher, because you see me a lot. And you might get frustrated with me because I'm having so much success, but if a student can explain it in layman's terms, it's a lot more easier. My passion is in technology in the classroom, so why not act upon it? That's kind of why I jumped on board. I have a smart board, I have too many iPads, and I have 8 Chromebooks. So that's kind of where I see my technology, and iTech 2014 really pushed my knowledge and boundaries. I never thought my kids could blog in kindergarten, and they are. And the new apps and the new ideas are huge. So we have a question for you guys. Do many jump on the tech train at your school? And this was on the attendee flyer, but you can text it to 298366 and put your message up there, or text that and your message to the phone number up there, and the responses are just gonna pop up. And we want to know, do many jump on the tech train at your school? Why or why not? You probably have a lot on the tech train if you have a lot of resources at your school, or vice versa. They might not jump on the tech train if you don't have very many resources. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to populate those answers, and then we'll kind of have a discussion about that with you guys. Give you about another minute and a half to finish that up.
Of all the responses so far, I could relate to every single one of them. That's exactly why we kind of decided to form that technology group. No, there's not people yet getting our veteran teachers on board. And a lot of them want to do or to integrate more technology, but they don't know how, and they're not willing to put forth that time.
Absolutely, we have the refusal at our school. Even with we're gonna go through the things that we integrated last year, and even just the simplest thing that I would probably consider is Remind, and how we use that in our school. Our principal has jumped on board, all this kind of stuff, and we have one teacher in the 2nd grade, and she's like, I am not doing that. That is too complicated for me. And so even just to sit through PDs and show her, and she's seen the effects of it as a volleyball coach, I remind her daughter on a daily basis of things when we're leaving for the bus, all that kind of stuff, and she's like, oh, that's so cool. Okay, so you see it, now do it type thing, so. By a show of hands, who is one-to-one here? Okay. And then is everyone else? Just randomness, kind of like how we are, or what are you guys?
2 to 1.
2 to 1?
Does anybody have like iPads over computers?
That's what we have.
That top one is really ringing loud to me. We, as elementary teachers, are the ones presenting here. We also have our high school teachers here today, and I think one is more interested in the vendors than learning about anything else. And so they often get frustrated with us, but then they turn around and like, you're not preparing our students, but really we are. They're just not jumping on board with the technology things, stuff like that. So as you can see, you guys have a lot of the same feelings and thoughts that we had. Keep in mind, we still have those thoughts. We've gotten a lot more to jump on the tech train, but you know that it's not going to be 100%. What we did our first year, like we said, we attended ITech, we presented about what we learned, we went with the AEA and we created a game plan. As 3 individuals, there's so much technology out there. I know last year and this year already, I was like, oh, apps, how am I going to use this? What am I going to do? And so our AEA person said, pick 3. 3 things that you want to try and to see where others are going to go. So we chose Skype because we thought that was a pretty good one for everyone to be familiar with, something that can make those connections. Kid blogging, which is no longer for us because it's a pay option, so we've kind of converted it into Blogger. And then coding, which that was something new to all of us. And we knew that we had to pick something that was new to us so that we could be like, hey, here's how we failed. Because I think a lot of times we go up to them and we're like, oh, this is so awesome. And we needed something that we were going to fail at first so that they could see that we were just like them.
It was also something that was like, so when we would take it to them, they couldn't be like, well, you've been doing this for years. It's taken you 3 years to learn how to do kid blog. How do you expect me to learn it within the next month? Well, we have something new that we learn, after school or during our planning time within the last couple weeks. You can do the same.
Absolutely.
So that was kind of our thinking as well as choosing those 3.
And then we ended it with the end of the year survey, and that really opened our principals' eyes to things. And I think that's great if you want to start this at your school, is to have that survey and to have those open conversations. Because I think those sometimes are hard. And we had people saying, I'm interested in these 3 things. So then this year we've been kind of taking that, and if we see stuff, we'll send it just directly to them. We had a coding opportunity come from the ADA, and there were 7 people that had signed up for wanting to know more about coding. So we just sent it to our principal, and he was like, all right, you 7 are going. So sometimes I think that they might tell us more than what they tell the principal because they don't know how to communicate those things. So I think the survey was huge.
And if you guys, we have a copy of that. If you ever want to kind of look off of that or have it as a guide, email one of us. We'll be more than happy to share that survey with you. And you could kind of revamp it if you wanted. We had some thoughts on leaving the tech train, just a couple keywords: messy, rewarding, fun, interesting, myself, inspiring, helpful, fulfilling.
And I went with challenging, insightful, and crazy. At being 2 of the youngest teachers at our school district, a lot of times we get looked at like we're crazy, but then they see all the great things that we're doing and they want to jump on board, but then do know that it is challenging.
So kind of now what we need to do is we got all this technology last year. What do we do with it? Okay, where do we go from here? So with 4th grade, I had my own. There's 3 4th grade sections we have at our school. My class had the 30 Chromebooks. Well, then the other 2 class sections were sharing a computer cart. And so our principal ordered enough Chromebooks so that the entire 4th grade will now be a 1-to-1. There'll be enough classroom computers in each room. So that's great. I'm teaching a 21st century technology class. That's part of our daily rotation. So 1 section science, 1 section social studies, I'm technology. So when they come to me, all those things that we learned last year, I'm teaching that to them. We started off really basic. This is how you log on to a computer. This is how you enter your password. This is how you get onto email. This is how you type an email. We created a mailing list on their email accounts so that when they are writing a story and they want to share it to everybody in their class, they only have to send it to that list instead of typing in the 24 emails. We've done, I'll talk a little bit about those. We've done just like a typing program, learning the computer or like the keyboard. We've done Flipgrid, it's a video response. We've done a lot, we've done a one-drop list. It's just, it gives you a video, gives you an article, it's very interactive. Started Blogger, trying to get on that. I do a lot of online assessments, so we've done like Kahoot It. If you've never done that, that's awesome. I'll talk about that. And then like our formal assessments. When I go to give them a monthly assessment, I've got a couple different programs I use for that. We have Google Form and then Socrative, which is a new one that we found that we just used in the last month. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. So that's kind of what we're doing in 4th grade. A kindergarten class is using Chromebooks to Google Docs, Blogger, and Seesaw. That would be Jess. Do you want to talk about that?
Just getting them on it, knowing what button it is to press, things like that. I'm going to talk about Blogger and Seesaw. We all know about Google Docs, and it's a great invention for us. My kids, we take our words, we're doing a word family, and we work with them for 2 weeks. And out of the 2 weeks, 2 of those days is them typing their words, sharing them. I'm a Seesaw ambassador. I don't know if any of you have heard about Seesaw. I'm going to talk about that later. That's a bunch of parent interaction I think the biggest key to success for our technology time, especially if you're working with carts, I was getting so frustrated. I would go in the morning, I'd pick up my computers, they might not have gotten charged or things like that, so I literally took the back off the computer cart and just started pulling cords, and now I have 8 Chromebooks in my room, they all have chargers, the other kindergartners classes have the same, and we just got rid of that cart concept. And what I do is I take, if I need more, I'll say, hey Katie, while your kids are at recess, can I have yours? I do that a lot with the first grade team. And so then I'm not asking the other kindergartners because I know I'm very, I want to use mine in the way that they need to be used, things like that. And then we're trying to roll out a technology time school-wide so that we can use 4th graders coming to 2nd graders and saying, hey, let's do a project together. Because right now it's like, well, I'm teaching reading at that time. Well, I'm teaching science at that time. Well, I need to get Lexi in today. So this is a technology time that we are going to implement so that everyone's on the same. Then you run into those obstacles of, is the internet going to hold all of us on it? Things like that. So just working through those and going through that. Just a reminder for our hashtag.
And so we kind of came up with a list of resources that each of us have been using the last year and maybe even just starting this year. So Missy used Skype a lot.
These are my kids because she wasn't here today to add her picture on. And Missy uses Skype a lot and I also use it. This is a kindergarten teacher in Canada that we connected on Twitter. And she said, let's do the global read aloud together. And I said, what are you talking about? And so we Skype every week and we read the same book and then we do an activity for it. So Skype is something that can cross-curricular and do the Common Core, all those types of things. She has done it for author visits. The author will Skype in and the author will read their book to them and they'll talk about things, which I think is huge for the kids. And I know that they have done the mystery Skype, like, I'll give you 3 clues. We are here, this is what our weather is like, things like that. Then the kids have to use the map and figure out where they would be.
Facebook. I use Facebook as well. It's just a way that parents can go on there. You can make your status, hey, reminder we have PE tomorrow, bring your PE shoes. Or it's homecoming week. On Monday we're having pajama day. I use my Facebook page to post pictures on there and just kind of put all of our information out.
This is an easy one to get staff to jump on board because they already have Facebook. And Mr. Bustrom's class is on the left, and that's showing you an open group. And then Mrs. Thompson's class is on the right, and she does a closed group. So there's different, and some teachers are like, I'm not using Facebook, I don't want it to be out there. But if you have the proper things signed and parents are okay with it. But I know that Mrs. Thompson, she's a coworker of mine, she does a great job with that. And she says that it was so easy for her because she was really reluctant, like, I don't have time to do this. And now that's all she does. She's going through her Facebook and things like that. Codable, this was a part of our coding program, and it's free, and it's on the iPad, and it's on, we use it with our Chromebooks, so computer-based. And Codable is just like code.org, which I know Katie will be talking about in a second. And with coding, it's programming the little fuzzball to do what he needs to do to get to the coins and things like that. Codable, the kids are really teaching themselves, so it's not you that needs to sit down and give a lesson about the technology. And I know that my other kindergarten friend, she has jumped into coding and she's like, I am not doing this. And the kids have literally taught her the things, and she knows that this is probably the best technology that she's infused in a while.
So one big one that I use is Socrative, and what you do with it is I've just made all my tests and all my quizzes on there. And so I created a quiz, I'll send it out to the students. Well, like they'll have like the web page that they have to go to, just socrative.com, and then they'll go to student sign in. They put in their room number. I just made my room number my last name. It's easy enough. And this was something that I just found this year, and I used it, and I loved it. So we gave our first quiz, and it comes back, when you get the results, it'll come back, it'll give you each individual test for each student. So we have 70 third graders, or 70 fourth graders. So to have 70 quizzes come back, because I had to give all the fourth grade technology quiz, to get 70 quizzes to come back, they came back graded. I didn't have to grade them, I didn't have to look at them. They were all multiple choice, so I have this printout. It's like, hey, you got an 80%, or you got 100%. It also did, like that's the picture on the left. The picture on the right gives each question and tells you how many students got that question right, as like a whole group. So if I look at question 1, it said 18 out of 23 got that question correct. That's pretty good. But question number 3, only 13 out of 23 got that question correct. Obviously, my class needs a little bit more work on that problem. So I know that that will be something that we need to go back and review. And this was something that I was really easily able to take to the other fourth grade classes. And we made all of our quizzes together and tests together. We do essential skills every month. So our month of September, at the end of the month, we quiz them or we test them on all of their skills. And they were able to do this with me. So this was something we have to assess them somehow. And instead of pen and paper or pencil and paper and let's hand them out, they can fill out a bubble sheet and give it back, and I have to go through and grade the bubble sheets. Let's make it a little bit easier for me, a little bit easier for them. They like being on the computers. They like taking online assessments. It's more interesting for them. You can put pictures on there. You can put videos on there. It's just a great thing. Kahoot it. Has anybody ever done Kahoot it before? Okay, good. So you can create an account. These are all of them that I have created, just some of them I guess. But I've done reviews just for some of my classes. I've also just done some random ones just to introduce the kids. We just did one a few weeks ago, like the brand, the logos, or what Disney character am I. And so what they do is they log on, it's on their computers, or if you're high school kids, they could do it on their smartphones. And it's just a way for me to get a quick assessment. It's like a game. This was something that last year there were a few teachers that did it, and they were like, that's so great, that was so fun. Google Form is something that I also used a lot last year for our tests, but I switched to that Socrative this year. Google Form's great. You can create your questions, you can send it out to everybody, you get the results back. It works well, it's easy. But when you get your responses, so this would be like what the response sheet looks like, and they do have an add-on, it's called Flubberoo. So if you use Google Form to give a test, I do the add-on Flubberoo. All you gotta do is go to responses, add-on, download Flubberoo, it comes right on. And then it will grade the assignment for you as well. But this one, like if you had a short answer, it wouldn't grade that. It also only comes back in a Google Form sheet like this, or a Google spreadsheet. So when you print it off, it's really hard to read it. You can't get an individual test. So it was great last year before we had learned about the new website. I'd still use it for surveys. It's really easy to get results that way. 10 marks and SumDog are what I've been using for math, and that's something that the other classes, it was really easy just for them to jump on board. SumDog's free, 10 marks is free. You make a class. SumDogs is like just like math games, but it's more structured. They can't go off and, I don't know, if you ever decided to go to cool math games, there's games on there that have nothing to do with math. This has everything to do with math. You can't go off of it. I can just say you can only do multiplication today. I can assign that to them. 10 marks is the same way. I can create an assignment. It's due on Friday. We've been trying to implement the daily 3 math, and so this was just one way of being able to do math by yourself. Google Docs. This one it seems so easy, and it is so easy, that my kids, when they're doing their daily 5 and they want to do work on writing, some of them don't like to actually write it out. They want to type it, which is fine. I let them do that. And so I just created a folder in my email. That's my class. And then if they work on their writing, they have to share it with me. And during our keynote speaker this morning, I was getting emails from my kids of their writing. Because there was a couple days I know there were some of my kids that just were goofing off. They weren't doing anything. Well, the picture on the left says, "Hi, my name is Kylie and I am 10 years old," and it goes on and on and on. That is what she did today, and I'm not even there, but I already know what she wrote about. So that's just a way for the kids to use technology, and they share it with me. It's easy. The other teachers have loved doing that. Flipgrid is something new. I just found this a few weeks ago, and I'm on like a 21-day trial. 2 weeks ago, 21-day trial, and I have like 10 days left. It is $65 per year, but what it does was that I took a video of myself and I asked a question. I just said, I showed them the question 4 times 5, and I was like, how would you solve this problem? And I want you to show me how, and I want you to explain it, and then I want you to give me the answer. Because they could say, well, 4 times 5 equals 20, but why? How did you get there? So I posed a question, and then I shared like a link with them. It'd be this like http flipgrid.com. I shared that with them through their email. They clicked on it, and then they would go and like on the green button there, they would click on that, and then they would take a video of themselves responding back to the question. So I have like an example of what that looks like. We'll see if it loads it. Kind of like Jess, I don't have a lot of patience for that.
I just have to say that I was walking past our class doing this, and they were out in the hall, and I like stopped and was like, "What are you doing?" And the kids were so excited about it. And this, I wish you could see the boy on the right. He literally, at the end, doesn't he go like, "Thank you," or
yeah,
and it's like a show for him, and it was so exciting.
He's my autistic student, so like things for him sometimes are really tough. He's like, "Oh, I don't think I can record myself," and I was like, "No, you can. Like you can do this." And he got so excited, like he had drawings, and at the end he's like, "Thank you for watching my video. You learned how to count by 4s today," and like ended his video. So that was just so cool to see, because he was excited. I was excited. I don't have too much more to share about this because it's still brand new to me. I'm still trying to work out the kinks. Now, like the link there, I can share that out on like my Facebook page, or share that with my friends, share that with my parents over Remind, and then they could actually go to it and then watch the videos as well. So I thought about like having them just read for 2 minutes into this video, and then that would be like my way I could conference with them or confer with them. Their parents could listen to them read. And you can make it private so that you have to have the link to it. Nobody can post on it. You know, I have to monitor the comments so that if, that way nobody random can just go in and make a video that you don't want on there. Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you should get on Twitter. I use Twitter for everything. I mean, I've been tweeting every day, all day today, and we'll just send out like little things. Be like, "Oh, I found this." I tweet back and forth between Jess and Missy all the time. I tweet to my principal all the time. It's like, "Hey, I found this today," or "I read this today. Check it out." I'll share a link. How many in here have Twitter? So not everybody. A lot of you are smiling now that I said you should have Twitter. It's not hard. You can make it very private. I actually have 2 Twitter accounts. They said if you ever make a Twitter, you should have 2. One for work, one for personal. So if I ever want to share out of my Twitter account, I always give them my work one, because I know that what's on there is going to maybe be a little bit more meaningful than what's on my personal one. So, yeah, 210 tweets. I've only had it, well, since 2012, but that was my year in college. We were forced to make a Twitter account. And so, didn't really use it except for the last year. We took a Twitter class last year at iTech that kind of got us all excited about it. And then my Facebook page. So I put, silly pictures. That was our selfie from last week. We had homecoming. I used it as a promotion. The picture on the bottom right where I have the Dr. Seuss hat. I wanted to promote my page, like just to our community. And so I posted it, and it said I'm surprising my class by letting them earn something extra, but it was the community that had to earn that something extra for my class. It was just a Deer Day, celebration of Dr. Seuss Week. And so I said, in honor of Dr. Seuss's birthday, I decided to do something different. I want to give my class a Deer Day. And so they had to get, my class page had to get 150 likes. I had like 10 at the beginning of this post. And within an hour, I was up to over 200. So Facebook, it can really promote things. I had close to 400 likes on the picture. I had over 50 shares on just a picture. That meant probably nothing to a lot of people, but really meant a lot to my class the next day when I walked in. And I said, hey, I challenged our town last night and gave them a week to like our Facebook page, and they did it within an hour. And they're like, sweet, what do we get? And I said, we get a day of reading. My class, they loved to read last year, so that was just something that was kind of over the top for them. So Facebook, easy, simple, can be fun.
I often get well, you have 2 iPads in your room, so anything that you share with us isn't going to be applicable because we only have Chromebooks. So I am always trying to find resources that everyone can use. The first one is Remind. Remind has been a saving grace for me. Just the other day, we were talking about apples, and my kids were like, Mrs. Bieber, let's taste something with apples. And I'm thinking in my head, I don't know what I would make. So we sent out a reminder to our parents. We said we would really love to taste test some things that are apples. The next day I had 5 homemade things in my room. I had apple pie, apple crisp, all these things. And then on Friday, I had 6 more things. I had a mom take an apple pie, and she did the actual braiding across it, and I was afraid to eat it because it looked so good. But that's the power of Remind. The new thing that you can do is chat with your parents using Remind. They don't have my cell phone number. I don't have their cell phone number. I have really pushed this to all of our teachers this year, and this is how a 2nd grade teacher communicates with their parents. She threw away the paper planners that they give out at the beginning of the year. The first day they came back, and she's like, I don't want these. And she asked the principal, can I throw these away? And he goes, yep, but what's your game plan? And she goes, I'm going to Remind chat my parents. So every night she just sits down and says, hey, this homework's coming home, make sure that Latham gets it done. And the parent responds back. I had a parent Remind chatting me this morning at 7 in the morning talking about parent-teacher conferences, and I just quick sent back, yep, that'll work for me, or how I have a mom that Remind chats me every day because the change in the schedule is so different, and she'll just be like, I'm picking Harley up, or I'm not picking Harley up, put her on the bus. It's just a quick thing for me to do. So as you can see, we have an elementary staff one that I've joined. Our principal reminds us all the time. It's just a quick text message out to us, and then volleyball, using Remind for that. My biggest new thing is MailChimp, and I have challenged all my preschool teacher friends and all my kindergarten teacher friends to use MailChimp this year. And it's a free service, and you will look at it and you will be like, this looks like it's for businesses, and it is. But why not take something awesome and turn it to help you? So for MailChimp, it's an online newsletter. So I send home this newsletter, and it's just news from the classroom. I can do it wherever I am at. I typed this one on the bus the other night coming home from a game. I have important dates. All those things, and it just goes through. It formats to your phone or your computer, so you might see it the whole screen on your computer. If I pull it up on my phone, which I think a lot of parents really like. But the awesome part for me is that I can hit reports, and I can see who has opened it and how many times they've opened it. So right here, my mom signed up for my kindergarten newsletter, so I see that my mom has opened it once, and then, as I'm standing in front of it, and then I have a parent. The Cowtons have opened it, the Harrises, the Straws, the Bulls, the Halls, and it just goes on and on and on. And I can do that link out to other things so they can do that. So I know that they're getting my information home because a lot of times I put a paper in their mailbox and I'd say, please Lord, get it home to them tonight. And I never knew if it was getting there. So MailChimp is very exciting for me. Seesaw, I use Seesaw. It is an opportunity for me to take pictures, videos, and it's just a communication between me and the parents. I use it for my sight word checks, and I can tell if a parent has looked at the photo, watched the video, they can like it, they can comment on it, so they know that last week this person got 5 out of 23 sight words, and this week they're getting 23 out of 23, so I can see where they're going. That's a free app. I have it on my phone, I have it on my computer. It's available for the Chromebook. The kids can take pictures with it. And then down here is a video. I just did a still shot of it, and I can tag Lily and Sean in it, so then Lily and Sean's parents are the ones seeing it, and then Sean's mom liked it. It's kind of like Facebook, but it's only between myself and the parent. I had one mom that had a really awful week with head lice at her home, and I sent home this video, and she goes, "Thank you for being the bright spot, because it has been an awful week." So I know that it has that impact on parents. This is I use Blogger, and preschool and kindergarten, we all have our blogs up and going. It's kindergarten with Mrs. Bieber, and the parents can go here and see things. I have linked my Twitter to my website. It's going to be slow. Because I know a lot of parents aren't going to get on Twitter, but I really like Twitter. So I can link it, and my parents can see the pictures that I'm posting on Twitter right here. I just have a hashtag for my classroom. They can sign up for my classroom newsletter, and I can input things, our newsletter here. We have a mystery reader, all of those different things. Plus my kids can link to websites. Parents can look at our schedule. We blog in kindergarten, and also here's my reminds for things such as that. So I try to make it one platform to kind of add those widgets into things. TweetBeam, if you've never heard of TweetBeam, this is what it looks like. With Twitter, brand your school. Tell them how awesome you're doing. I'm so excited to attend a session tomorrow. It's talking about branding and things like that, getting your school out there. So everyone in the whole entire school district, if they hashtag it EHawk Pride, it's going to load with things, and
it's going to show every tweet that's ever been sent that has the hashtag EHawk Pride, and it's just going to kind of pop up different tweets. It's going to show the different pictures, and so we've been using the hashtag EHawk Pride for over a year now. So there's lots of tweets, and so it just kind of, it's something fun that we have up like during conference time. We'll have it like on the big screen, and just when parents come in, it's just something that kind of pops up to them.
And then I just started a hashtag for my classroom. I did Bieber Kinder 180, and then that one goes straight to my blogger. And it's just cool to brand you and to brand your classroom, and it compiles everything. So, like Katie said, if you're not on Twitter, get on. And if you're on Twitter and you're not active on it, start being active. And then our final words as we close. Leading the tech train, it can be frustrating. I will tell you that. So do know that it will get better, but not everyone is going to jump on board. And get a team together and get the word out. The AEA did a really nice job of describing this. You're always going to have a train, and the people that really want to do things are going to be at the front of the train. So that's probably Katie, Missy, and I, and our principal. We are on the front of the train. We are driving this train. Then you're going to have people in the middle part. These people are like, yeah, I really want to go on this, but I don't really know. I'll get there. And you're always going to have people in the last cart. And that's going to be the people that, nope, that's not for me. So your goal as leading the tech train is to get people. You should only have about 1 or 2. You want 0, but you should only have about 1 or 2. And you want people to keep jumping the cart so that at the beginning of the train, you have everyone there. So that's kind of our tech train experience and where we go from that.
Thank you for coming.